And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Outback. Now, Outback from Hook and R&R Games, there's one big thing here, and it's from Michael Kiesling, who's really hot. I mean, you're talking about a lot of games that he's done that people are really excited about, and so, you know, this is one that I was really interested in, although the cover kind of makes it look like a kid's game. It's not quite a kid's game, but in actuality, this is a Yahtzee style variant. There's a lot of these out there where you're going to roll dice and try to get as many of the same thing as you can. Mostly, let me show you. There are two games, a basic and an advanced game. Scoring is going to be the same way. You're going to have scoring for each of the 5 different animals. If you don't score an animal, it's going to score you -3 points. At the end of the game, these scoring things are going to be moving around this track. And at the end of the game, you're only going to score over here on the left-hand side for your bottommost 3. So let's say this is my score here. I'd get 9 points. Anything on the top row scores what it is. So this is 9 points. This one doesn't score because I only get my bottommost 3. So I'd get 1, 2 plus 3, 5 plus 4 is 9. This one doesn't score at all. If this one manages to swing around the corner, it's fine. So you want to get all your markers as far as you can. Once they swing around the top, they're going to score whatever points that are there. Until then, only the 3 over here will score, and anything that doesn't make it out of this -3 is not going to do too hot for you. So how do you score points? On a player's turn, the first thing they will do is they will check to see if this vehicle has any empty spots. If it does, they're going to pull tiles randomly from the bag and put them on there. These are the only animals you can go for on your turn. So you can see I can go for kangaroos, platypuses, or lizards. So you're going to take a pile of dice here, 6 dice, and I'm going to roll these dice and try to get these animals here. So I rolled some koalas, that's worthless. I got some platypus and a lizard and a wild. A wild can't be used by itself, but it can be added to other stuff. So I'm going to keep those 4 dice. And I rolled 2 kangaroos. That's interesting, but I'm going to re-roll them. And I got a platypus and a lizard. Nice. You can roll the dice up to 2 times. So I'm going to take 3 lizards. Actually, I'm going to take 2 lizards and 4 platypuses, which means I can take the platypus here, the tile here, and I can put it in the 4 row, anywhere in the 4 row, because I need 4 of the same thing. And I'll take one of the lizard tiles and put it in the 2 row. Now, when I place these down, you can see that the most animals I could get would be 3 with my dice, because I could get 3 pairs of 2s. But I also have to think about the future. There's a spot for a 6. I'm going to get all 6 the same to put 1 in there. When I put an animal down, I'm going to score a point for that animal, move my token up 1, plus 1 for each of that animal that it's already touching. So if I put another lizard here, I'm going to get 2 points for that lizard. So the more of a group you have together, the farther that marker is going to move. If I roll the dice and I can't place one of the animals there, then I'd have to take one of the animals on there and place this face down, which is going to be worth -2 at the end of the game, which, as we can see, is not really a good thing. And players are going to keep going until one person fills up their board. Now, if you ever get 3 of the same animal, you'll place one of these markers here. Each player has 1 of each of the different types of animals, and these are going to be bonus points at the end of the game. And I've already mentioned the main scoring, add it to these bonus, -2 for each of these that are face down, and whoever has the most points is the winner. In the advanced game, these tiles are gone and are instead replaced by a bunch of bonus tiles that will be in the middle of the table. And these are just some of the examples of them. If you're the first person to accomplish whatever the goal is, to finish this whole row across or to get 5 koala bears, you just take these tiles, which are going to be worth that many points. And then you can see that there's going to be up to 7. You'll have 7 dice instead of 6 that you'll be rolling. And at the end of the game, these negative tiles that are placed on the board will score based on a random scoring thing that you'll draw. Maybe they're all worth -3. Maybe they're going to be worth minus points depending on the animals that are next to them. Or maybe they're going to be negative points depending on what row they're in. So it's kind of an interesting addition to the game. It's going to change it. Otherwise, scoring is pretty much the exact same way. Okay, so this is the biggest component of the game, right? It's this cardboard thing that you put together. It is completely unnecessary, but it does look cool. I don't mind it, and you don't have to take it apart and stuff to put in a box. But this is actually a fairly small game, and so the car almost feels like a justification to have a box this size. Now this board is kind of funky because it has these notched edges around the side, and I was sitting here for the longest time thinking, why are they notched all the way around? You can't move your score tokens there, and it's because the board has two sides. I'm not very bright. The dice are nicely printed. At first I was worried that this stuff would rub off, but it doesn't seem to. They're very easy to tell apart what the different dice are, and so I like them a lot, and all the tiles are good. Honestly, other than it being maybe a little bigger than it needs to be, the component quality for this is good. My only complaint might be with how small the scoring chips are, but that's it. And there you have it. Now, first of all, the advanced game is way better than the basic game. And honestly, it's not that advanced. So I would almost always play that one over the first one. The only difference I think that might make you pick one over the other is that the advanced game has a considerable possibility of getting negative points as opposed to the base game. Now, this game is okay, right? There's a lot of these games out there, and I had fun playing it. You're rolling the dice. Oh, I'm trying to get the different things. There's some strategy to it also. You know, when you take the dice, are you going to take a bunch of the small ones? If you fill up your small slots first, then on future turns, you are required to get the bigger numbers. And in fact, the game is considerably like Yahtzee because of that. If you've ever played Yahtzee, and most people have, you want to get the 5 of a kind, the Yahtzee. But that's really hard to do. So when you are forced to put an X in a spot, usually you'll put it in that spot because it's harder to get. Now, this game kind of tries to push on your toes a little bit that way by saying, hey, if you're going to put a negative tile down, especially in an advanced game, you put it in that top slot, you might get more negative points if you do so. So you might want to leave that spot open. So that's kind of the focus of the game, is trying to put these down and get a lot of points. And its point scoring is a little weird. It's not that intuitive. You want to get all the point tokens up, right? That's the basic fact of the matter. You want to get them all up, but maybe not all of them too high, because you want to get some all the way up and get a lot of points, but you want to get 2 around that corner. That's your way to maximize points and get the bonus tiles. But at the end of the day, the point scoring is, like I said, is not that intuitive. But here's where the crux of the game comes down. Luck. And not the luck of rolling dice. You would think that would be the luck of the game. That's an interesting form of luck, and I don't mind luck of the dice. But it's the luck of those animals that are on the truck. I need a lizard. There's no lizard on that truck. If there was a lizard on the truck, but Billy and Sally both took it, the 2 lizards before I could get to them. So I really want to get these animals, and there's kangaroos and platypuses on the truck, and I rolled the other stuff. It just seems like that truck can make or break the game, right? It's not like I'm going to roll and be like, oh, maybe I'll do better next time. You can literally win or lose sometimes based on the luck of the animals that are drawn from that and put on that truck. And I almost wonder why that's even a thing. Like, why can't you just pull from a big pool of tiles? I'm sure there's some reasoning behind it, and it would make the game maybe not that light, but it just pushes it over the edge of something I want to play all the time. I have a good time doing it, slightly longer than it needs to be, and the advanced game is better than the basic game, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure this is better than Yahtzee. It has a fun theme, it has interesting scoring, but at the end of the day, it's really similar to what Yahtzee gives me, where you roll dice and try to get combos and cross things out when you can't. It's a bit different. And like I said, the veneer is going to be happy to some people. Although, again, it does look a bit kiddish, and it's not necessarily. I don't know. I wonder if this is a forgettable game as time goes by. I enjoyed it, and I had a good time rolling the dice. But I wonder in a year, if you asked me about it, I would sit there and say, it has a big truck. I remember that part. But that might be the most memorable thing that's in this game. Dice Tower Judgment. It's fun for a while.